Welcome to the Movers Resource Guide podcast, connecting you to the resources you need to make your moving company the best it can be. I'm your host, Brian Hassan, CEO of Wayfinder Moving in Buffalo, New York. And today we are out on the water in Fort Lauderdale at the Dispatchers Convention, having a great time on our party boat here. Joining me is Bo Roscoe of Nagley Movers in Elmira, New York. So, Bo, this is your first Dispatchers Conference.
That is correct.
So, how are you enjoying it so far?
Really enjoyed it, Brian. It's been a couple of years here that among friends like yourself and vendor partners have asked me to come down and just haven't made it happen. And I've been missing out. This has been a great event.
Finally took the dive, huh?
I took the dive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how is it compare to other conferences that you've been to?
Yeah, it's definitely unique in nature from an aspect that some are set up to be a little bit more educational. I like the vibe that's here a little bit more because it really establishes the relationship and networking.
Yeah.
They had a nice blend of learning, but really the growing of relationships and expanding and meeting other people's networks has really been enriching.
Yeah, it's this conference is really well set up to network. Like every activity you do is built to network. It's like they had those couple of education sessions early in the week, which they haven't really had before, but that was like pre-conference education sessions. When it really kicked off, it's entirely built to get you to connect with people you haven't talked to before, explore those relationships, build those relationships. So it's a really unique concept.
And as well as rewarding the folks that work really hard. I mean, this is right before the season starts.
Yeah.
These events are networking events, but you get to relax a little bit, which typically we don't get to do. So it's been great.
So it's a lot of fun. I'm glad you could come down and enjoy it. And what's your outlook for the year ahead? We'll close with that.
Very optimistic. I think we're in for a nice rebound year.
Good.
I think we will continue to pivot and take whatever low-hanging fruit is there. Okay. But hopefully here with some additional connections and network, we can pick up some additional support and help other people be successful in 24 as well.
That'd be awesome. All right, cool. Well, hey, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here, and look forward to a good year ahead.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it, Brian.
Got Oded Army with me from DN Van Lines.
Good beer with you.
Yeah. So welcome to the Movers Resource Guide podcast.
Happy to be here.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent. Before this podcast started, I asked you, what your favorite movie was. And you said Bad Boys 2. Mm-hmm. Little did you know there's going to be two bad boys on this podcast. You see?
I like it there. That's good. Yeah. Way to loop that in.
Thank you.
So how are you enjoying this weekend? How's it going for you?
I'm enjoying it a lot. I think this is my 8th or 9th Dispatchers. I think Dispatchers is the type of thing where a lot of people haven't experienced it, right? And then when they do experience it, they want to take part in it. So after going for a few years, we actually hosted Dispatchers 2 years ago in Clearwater Beach. And this year it was Concert and Cornerstone. I think they did a fantastic job.
Fantastic job. Yeah. No, and unfortunately part of it got rained out. Some of the fun events they had planned, which, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you have that risk, right? But they had some really fun things planned. But even still, it's been a pretty great week.
I don't think it really changed anything. People always they people that are used to going to conferences, right?
Yeah.
They go online. They're like, what's the value proposition? What am I going to get out of this? Then they see there's absolutely no sessions, right? There's like no learning. There's nothing going on. They're like, this is valueless.
Yeah.
And the value is in the time you spend with people and the networking.
Yep.
And so I don't, the fact that those events were canceled, that just meant more time where we were together and talking and learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this your first Dispatchers?
No, I'm Biloxi about 10 years ago.
10 years. Okay.
I can't count exactly. It's been roughly 8.
Biloxi's going to be Galat. Did Galat do that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was the last time one got rained out.
Oh yeah. You know what? We had a beautiful afternoon. I was on the Thursday was a good day. I was out there on the beach.
Yep.
And today in the afternoon was a good day. So we had a little bit, a little rain over there.
Yeah, no, we've had some really nice weather this afternoon. It finally cleared up and it's good. We've had some nice weather and it's been good. They did a fantastic job planning this. So.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit more moving and storage centric.
Yeah, let's do it. What do you got?
What do you get out of this?
Oh, the first one I went to, I built a ton of connections right out of the gate. Was everybody so great about introducing you to people you don't know, and started to build those connections. And so every year I come back now, and it's okay, let's build that relationship. Let's do this. And now that we have 2 agencies, it's, hey, we work really close with you here. What can we do to explore that relationship there? And it's really nice to sit down face to face, look people in the eye, have those conversations, plan how you're going to utilize each other's during peak season. So it's really valuable for that, and just strengthening those relationships for when things get crazy in the summer, when you know you're going to need a friend. And, when you share a beer with them not share a beer with them, but when you
share a beer. I mean, we might share a beer later on tonight.
When you spend some time across the bar from them and have some good times, it's when you pick up the phone and you're like, dude, I need something. It's a lot easier to have that ask.
I love that word friend, though, because a lot of times, right, when you have these client meetings, right, you go in and it's kind of serious, right? You're like, you're there, you're trying to make the best impression. You're talking about a lot of serious, like, KPI related things.
Yep.
And, that's a good relationship too. But I think one of the things you get dispatchers is you get that, like you said, you're sharing a beer, but maybe that beer is at 2 a.m. in the morning, right? And you have some crazy stories, right? And then it's easier to interact with that person, right? You've kind of broken that business barrier.
Yeah.
And now you're friends.
Correct.
Right. And
yes.
for me, I like doing business with people I like. And I think a lot of people are like that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's it's your life, you're doing it every day.
Exactly.
You want to work with people that are cool, and that you enjoy and aren't dicks, right?
And that's ultimately though what happens, right? Is that you form relationships with people, you like them, and then the business just is a natural thing, right?
Yeah.
It also helps. I mean, for me, like you said, in peak season or whenever it is in a time of trouble, when somebody calls me and they need help and I don't know who they are, like, and this is just me being honest, I'm probably not doing a lot. I'm not moving earth to save them, right? But when a friend calls and they really need something, like, I'm doing everything I can to help.
Absolutely.
I think that's important.
Because you want to come back to this conference next year, look them in the eye and say, I did what I could for you.
Yeah.
I tried.
And I can't tell you how many times we've ran out of packing materials in a market. A truck broke down. We couldn't get on base, whatever it may be, right? And I've always had that kind of Rolodex that I built through dispatchers. So I can call the owner. I can call Brian, say, Brian, man, we're really hard out in your area. Like, we have a problem. Do you mind if I send a crew over to pick up some materials? And you're like, yeah, man.
Yeah,
no
whatever
problem.
you need. Yeah, we're here for you.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So that's great.
Yeah. So let's transition again.
Let's do it again.
I'm flirting in dangerous territory here.
Go for it. Go for it.
So,
this can be GHC.
You know it.
GHC. I got it. All right. You send me some signals I can pick up. All right, let's go.
So first off, let's set the stage for this summer. How do you feel? What's your confidence level? What kind of volumes are we going to be playing with this year? How's GHC going to affect us this summer? Just give us a quick synopsis on your
this
overall feelings for this summer.
My opinion for this summer is going to be insane. What I mean by insane is that I don't think that volume will be significantly higher than last year, but I think capacity has significantly shrunk.
Okay.
So what that means is, for those of us that are here,
survived,
it's going to feel crazy. The demand is going to outpace the capacity, where last year we had a shortened peak season, right? July 15th, peak season went over. Why was it? We had come through 2 years of really great times, right? On the military side and the COD side, the corporate, we were flying high. We had tons of capacity. Suddenly COD shrunk, right?
Yep.
And then all the van lines, everybody said, okay, let's look at this military thing.
Yeah.
But since then, the last year, I can't tell you how many companies have gone out of business. When I talk with my friends that are in the business and I talk about their driver counts, their capacity, this year compared to this time last year, significantly down. So I think we're going to see a lot of demand.
And I'm surprised to hear you say that. And I got some things going on in my head here, but I've seen some smaller moving companies maybe, and there's been some medium-sized ones that have gone out of business, and everybody's had tough times. But when you say that, I guess maybe I shouldn't name names, but there's some larger van line companies that, laid off 100 drivers. Maybe not a van line, but large agents.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
so that makes sense then.
I think that the bucket has shrunk, but the amount of water that needs to go in that bucket hasn't. So I think it's going to feel like there's more business for those of us that are still there. So that's and I think that US Transcom has been very transparent that less than 1% of the program is going to move through Home Safe Alliance and GHC. And let's be honest about something. We're almost in April. A single shipment hasn't moved through GHC.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm feeling the pressure. I know May 15th is right around the corner. They're not going to have any time to make any progress. And by the time we get to peak season, it's balls to the walls. We're just trying to do the best that we can.
Paying attention.
We're not even paying attention.
We're just trying to get through the summer.
So that answers your question directly about what I think about this year. You want some future?
Yeah,
You wanna go
let's-
beyond that horizon?
Get that crystal ball out. Tell me some things.
I think we're gonna have another peak season next year. I can't tell you that it's going to be an absolutely full peak season. I think that Transcom's already come out and said there's gonna be a rate filing, so we
that
know
kinda
that's gonna
tells you
happen.
what they're thinking.
They're thinking. I think that. Listen, every company out there has to make their own decision as it relates to whether they want to work with Home Safe Alliance and whether they want to participate in GHC. There's just a lot of challenges out there right now in order to make it work. And I'm not sure if those challenges are going to be overcome between now and, 12 months from now. I really don't.
Yeah. No, and it's, a lot of challenges in the program. And, Home Safe has kind of admitted that too. Like they have a lot of work to do and getting this all put together and convincing movers to, that they want us to do the work and all of that. So, there's a lot of work to be done there. I would agree with you. I think that, and even beside, if you take a lot of that stuff away, transitioning the 280,000 moves in between rough, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Based
I
on
think
what
Bradley
Dan
said
said,
like 285. You might be back to 300 this year,
Sure,
but
yeah.
that's a good number.
But transitioning that from the end of this summer at 1%, right? And then going all the way by the time we hit peak next year to be able to handle 280,000 moves. I would say that's a tough thing to transfer all in 1 year.
There's also
9 months
this idea, right? That let's say they get into April, right? And we're handling 100% of the program shipment. Well, 100% of the volume in April is very different than 100% of the
Correct.
volume May and June, right?
Oh yeah.
So listen, I think that at the end of the day, and this is my opinion, I think that you'll agree.
Yeah.
We are businessmen.
Yes.
If we can make money doing something, we're going to figure out a way to do it.
Yes.
We're just going to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people complain about a lot of things. Oh, like complain about ELDs or complain about digital inventories or complain about even SCA, right? All these things are challenges. They require work. They require problem solving. But if there's money to be made, we're going to figure it out.
Somebody's going to do it.
Exactly. And so the question is, there money to be made, right? Because if there's money to be made, enough of us will do it to carry the load.
Yeah.
And if there isn't, they don't want to happen. And that's really what it comes down to. It's simple economics. And it's unfortunate that right now, from a requirements perspective, the current program, Defense Personal Property Program, has a lot less requirements than the new program does. We lose a lot of things in the new program. There's a lot of it's like death by 1,000 cuts, right? It's the fuel surcharge, even with a 350 base, the fuel surcharge that we're looking at under
Which is this
GHC
year
list.
now. That 350 basis
That starts on May 15th.
May 15 this year, so that's a change. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, even with that, the fuel surcharge is lower under GHC. We lose all pre-approvals, right? Think about it. The bulky items, the reways, the repacking of boxes, the dozens of pre-approvals that we have in the program, we lose those. Claims liabilities for us that work with move managers go up from 125 to 150. We have a new requirement per pound, by the way, 125 to 150 per pound. We have a new requirement for a $3 million umbrella and other costs, right?
Right.
We have SCA. So it's all
a lot of change.
It's all these little things that at the end of the day make that proposition of hey, figure out how to make money doing this much more difficult. And so at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. Either the government and Home Safe Alliance will be able to provide our industry with a proposition that we want to take,
Right.
or we won't. And honestly, without the people on the top, right above us right now on this boat, these household goods moves from the melty aren't going to get moved.
No, we need every one of them, and they all do a great job. So, hopefully we find a solution at the end that works for everybody. So let's say this. So if anybody has been asked to do any work for GHC or HomeSafe, and they just don't know what to make of it, and maybe they don't understand the requirements of the MSA,
Master Service Agreement, right?
Master Service Agreement, but also the SC. Is it also the SCA?
Yeah, Service Contract Act and prevailing wage and all those requirements.
All that stuff. Yeah. So if somebody said, "Hey, I'm thinking about signing that and doing this, but I just want to have a conversation with somebody first so I make sure I understand what I'm getting into," would you be willing to chat with that person?
Of course. I mean, listen, we have to be careful. Like, ultimately, we all are independent businessmen, right?
And we all have to make our own decisions.
We have to make our own decisions. Yeah. But when it comes to understanding things, like understanding certain terms of the Master Service Agreement, understanding the current pricing, all these type of things that we talked about, of course, people can reach out to me. I think the associations have done a great job in trying to get that information out.
Yeah.
So you have, obviously the International Association of Movers, IAM, you have ATA MSC, you have all these kind of, even your state associations are doing the best job they can. Yeah. So, but me individually, yes. How about you, Brian? Somebody reach out to you. Are you willing out?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to somebody. I don't know if I'm an expert. I think you probably know more than me. I think maybe Dan Bradley with IAM is a better resource of somebody who's super knowledgeable about the topic. And if you have specific questions, he's certainly not going to guide you in any way, but can help you understand what the things are. But yeah, I'm happy to talk to anyone.
I would agree with you. I'm very deep into this. I was deep in this from the beginning. Yeah. But I will tell you this. I think part of the problem, I think a lot of industries complain, is a lack of communication from HomeSafe Alliance. I mean, we are really finding out a lot of things as it relates to SEO, proper classification of our workers, even the pricing. I mean, listen, we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company, KBR, and currently the pricing that we have is an Excel spreadsheet. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's I don't think a lot of time has been spent in engagement with industry in a effective way. And so I feel like let's say anybody from HomeSafe Alliance is listening to this podcast, sure, I would say invest in your communication outreach to industry, because ultimately somebody shouldn't be calling Odette Carmi and saying, explain all this to me. HomeSafe Alliance should be that source. They're the prime contractor. And the fact that people have to go to other industry leaders, find out into their associations, I think that calls into question the efforts that HomeSafe Alliance has done on the communication side.
Yeah, I think I would hope that they would admit that, they needed to do better in that area. I hope that they're working hard on it. We will see over time here if their communication does improve, right? If getting the word out is getting better.
You want to be honest with you? The reason why the communication isn't great is because there has developed this relationship with industry that it's us versus them. And so, it is just like
I will, absolutely. That's the attitude that we see.
So we're not in their eyes, maybe in ours as well.
Yeah,
we're on the same team. So when you're not on the same team, you're not communicating, right? They're not the quarterback in the huddle, and we're the wide receivers, and they're telling us what's going on. We're the opposite team. We're on the other side of the yard of scrimmage, right? And so they don't want us to know everything. And I think that's a fatal flaw where we are right now. If this is going to work, we're going to have to work together.
Yeah, I think that's an astute observation.
Right.
Honestly. Yeah. So, hey, thanks for coming on, man.
I love coming on with you, man. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again sometime.
Yeah, we'll do a solo episode.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
We'll find a topic. We'll get it done.
Hey, Brian, thank you for being here. Thank you for your great questions. I had a lot of fun.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks. All right, so we got Travis Weathers here, right? Rotate Digital.
We've
had you on before.
We have.
Yeah. So
they say the best guests come on twice.
I mean, I can't argue with that. Yeah. So how you doing? You're looking very festive for South Florida.
Yeah, I'm feeling very festive. You're looking festive. You got the lane.
We all got laid today, so
yeah.
We're good.
There you go.
My wife might listen.
Yeah. You better be careful what you say. Yeah, I've got the festivities. We got the yacht going on. It's feeling great.
Yeah, it's like everybody's having a good time eating.
Are you liking it? That's the real question.
Well, there's a lot of pressure in this, so I don't get to enjoy myself. So I want to interview some people, have some great conversations, and shut this down and relax. So
Business, then party.
that's right. That's right. So have you been to Dispatchers before?
Never been. Dispatch is the first time for me.
So, and I know you've had a couple of conflicts. You haven't been here for the whole event.
Not the whole event. A solid 7.5 hours.
I mean, short time.
That's a very short time.
So from what you've seen and from what you've heard from your team who's been,
Yeah.
right? What is your perspective of this event versus some other things from a vendor side?
I think it's a great balance of having fun.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So great people, great time to have fun, great time to connect. I think it's nice to be able to just connect and not have to feel like you have to talk business the whole time.
Yep.
So I like that. Compared to the other ones, where the other ones are, it feels like people are there for business. They're there for talking. But, the ATA MSC, the Moving Times, this for that. This feels like it's much more like, hey, we are business owners together. We're in the moving industry together. Let's talk. Let's hang out. Let's connect.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy that part.
Yeah, I think, and that's interesting. There's way more opportunities at this one to feel like we're just hanging out as friends, as opposed to maybe being on a vendor floor where it's like, hey, let me convince you to come over and talk.
Yeah,
to me, right?
100%. But I'm not a movie owner. So, you've been here the whole time. How do you feel? This is not your first time.
No.
Yeah.
This is a great conference. It's a lot of fun. It's really laid back. People are great. It's a good time. I am not much of a drinker, and so I didn't come here for a long time because I'm not a party guy. Yeah, but and it's a party conference. But the
I don't know. You think it's a party conference?
But I will say, I sat at the bar till 1:00 last night. So
having good conversations. Sometimes I like these because it's almost nice because you get in this day-to-day grind. You're doing your stuff. You're dealing with fires. It's fire. You're calling a buddy to find out, hey, what do you do? What would you do here? Yeah. And it's kind of nice to just hang out and be like, all right, you're a human, just like me.
Yeah.
You have problems. We like to have fun. You're a human,
Yeah. No, for sure. It's just really nice to connect this way. And what a great show. I mean, it's a pretty sweet boat.
It's a pretty sweet boat.
I mean, we don't get the best of it right here because we couldn't.
Yeah, you guys can't see everything. There's a party. It's going on. We got dinner.
We couldn't go upstairs and dangle off the edge of the boat.
Yes,
to do the podcast.
We could though. We could. It's probably not the best thing to do.
Right.
I would not advise. I would be your first guest though. Third time's the charm. So yeah,
let's jump in the water and do it from there.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, how much money? That's the real question. But,
more than anyone.
But no, it's a great place, and I think it's actually pretty cool that they invite vendors. Look, I'm a vendor.
Yeah.
I'm a vendor in this industry. I get it. You don't really want me around,
which is new to this event.
I like it. I think it's cool. I think if the vendors can be chill and just have a good time, not be pushing their stuff, connect, then I think it's great.
I have the attitude, and you guys do as a company as a whole to, hey, let's hopefully build relationships.
Yeah.
And I think the vendors that are here, truly the vendors that are here are the vendors that want to build relationships.
Yes.
We have great vendors in this industry, but if you have a more transactional mindset, you're not going to want it.
It doesn't work. Yeah, 100%. And we knew that coming into it. We were told about it, and we were actually kind of excited about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
it's right in line. With you guys,
especially the guys that I sent here. They were very excited about this. They were very excited to make connections.
It's a nice reward for them too.
Yeah. I did tell him. I said, hey. He's like
Dan's enjoying
it.
He's doing a great job.
He's doing a great job. And I told him, I said, enjoy this. You've been working hard the last couple of years. Yeah. Make it happen. Be responsible.
He's been enjoying himself, but being responsible. From my perspective,
from year one, year a couple of times. At the end of the year, though, when he asked for a bonus, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, you went to dispatch.
I love it.
100%.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to go let you eat your food.
I would do it. I have a question for you. Would you bring your team here? Why or why not?
Yes, I have in the past.
Okay.
It was a little bit of a rough winter, so we didn't.
Trust me, I get that.
But yeah, no, for sure. I think, and a lot of people do bring their dispatchers and their team. That right now, our main person that's working in the military in our office in Buffalo is my wife, and it was me or her because of the kids.
Yep.
So we couldn't bring her this year. But yeah, when we've had other people in the past who've been more military centric,
right,
and the ones that are really working with the receiving the work in, servicing it, having to communicate with the SCAC managers, and all of that, it's really beneficial for them to be here for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be cool to see. For somebody who's not come, why, as a moving business owner, why would you go, hey, this is why you should be here? And we talked about connections. We talked about the relationships. Is that the main thing for them?
Oh yeah. I didn't come for a number of years because I was like, but why? Like, what's the?
Yeah.
I didn't get it, and then the first time I came, the connections, the relationships, the amount of work that I got from here the one time, and now I go to a lot of industry events, have a lot of friends, enjoy coming to these things, and I always meet somebody new, and I always learn something. Yeah, that pays for the trip.
100%.
No different. Yeah. So
And you get to make new friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes my friends start falling off. They don't want to be friends with me. So if I get new friends, it's a nice little cycle.
I mean, the older you get and the more you dive into your business, the harder it is to go
it's
make friends.
so
right?
much harder, yeah.
All my friends now are either from high school, college, or from the moving industry.
Yeah, 100%.
So
There's not even an in between.
no, it's like yeah, that's the way it is. So, all right, sir, cool. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on, and you enjoy it. That looks good. And I want to get
Honestly, it looks-
so I can go eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care. Here again with Mario Reyes, former guest of the podcast,
Well, thank you for having me.
South Bay Movers in
Salinas, California, everybody.
Salinas, California. Come down a little bit on that.
Okay.
All right. So, enjoying yourself?
I am. We're having a great time out here.
Good.
Dispatchers 48th convention, I believe. I've been to, I think my first dispatchers convention was in 1988 or 89.
Okay.
So been to quite a few. Haven't
Yeah.
been to all of them, but been to quite a few.
yeah.
And it's evolved. We're doing podcasts now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's good.
Yeah, I'd like to say live from the boat. It was supposed to be live from the pool party, which got rained out, but we're live. We're not live. We're going to record from the boat now and
Yes.
ship it out later. But, man, having a good time. And,
Yes, we're having a great time.
Yeah.
I wish that everybody out there come next year. We're going to be in San Diego, California. It's a great networking event and it's evolving.
Yeah.
Younger people, I hope you guys come. It's good. You guys need to take this thing over.
So this is a good question for you, being a West Coast guy. Yeah. I don't ever remember it being on the West Coast. Is this a first that you remember?
We've done Las Vegas a few times,
Okay.
but never
California.
California, I don't think.
Okay. All right. So that'll
Yeah.
be a new. And
No,
San
no.
Diego's
Beautiful. It's going to
Yeah.
be beautiful. We've had rain problems in Florida. No offense to the Floridians, but I think it's going to be a good convention.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it already.
Yeah, it'll be nice. And for the first time going to a dispatchers conference, you're not going to have to fly across the country.
No. This is true. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So,
Yes. And so anybody else, the dispatchers convention was a really lay your hair down operations meeting for years ago where you could come and just have a good time. It wasn't a lot of pressure, but it was real networking where you were just talking to people. It's evolved a little bit. It's a little bit more structured than it used to be in the 80s, but we welcome you guys to come. Come on
Yeah.
out.
All right. Hey, before I let you go here, because I know you want to eat, what's your outlook for this summer? From and you do military and COD, so give us a mixed perspective here. Do you feel like we're going to be doing worse than last year, same as last year, better than last year? What do you think this summer's going to
I
look
think
like
it's
for
going to be
everyone?
better than expected.
Okay.
I think everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people are not doom and gloom, but everybody's like, oh, I think it's going to be a pleasant surprise. And even if it's not, like I probably told you before, Brian, an old cowboy told me, you think about your worst day, it's behind you.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Awesome. And hopefully this bad past year for the industry is behind us and we have positive things moving forward.
No, it is positive, and we're going to get there, so it's fine. And looking forward to everybody. But thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Yes,
Appreciate
thank
you.
All right.
All right, go get some food, man.
Thank you.
All right, well, I got Dan Bradley here with IAM, government expert, military.
That's a strong word.
So, welcome to the podcast.
All right.
Thanks
Great
for
to be
stepping
here.
over
Absolutely.
here for
I'm not that dizzy even on the water, so should be good.
I was sitting and eating. I do get motion sick, and it was starting to get wobbly. So we're gonna make this quick before gets too much for me.
All right, good. Gotta
So-
knows what kind of answers then. When you're dizzy,
Uh,
I don't know.
yeah. So you having a good time this weekend?
I'm having a good time despite the rain. It's been a good time, and it's been nice to just hang with people and have conversations. You know,
Great conference. So we've had that conversation with a lot of people. So I'm going to skip over some of that. So you're our military guru, or at least your job with IAM is to really know what's going on with the military, be able to understand it, translate it to something that into language we can understand, right? And to keep up on
yes, I hope so.
So-
Yes.
that. So going into this peak season for this year, what are some high level things that we need to know?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things because Transcom just held their personal property forum this week while we were all here. There wasn't, I would say, a lot of big shocking news coming out of that. Most of it probably was already out there in the change to business rules and things like that, right? So
Okay.
I would say, they didn't. That's an asshole. They said that they understood the need for stability in the program, and so they weren't going to make a lot of changes. And I would agree that they didn't make a lot of changes, but they made some changes that were significant, right? And
Okay.
some of those significant changes, we could start right off with changing the baseline for the fuel surcharge.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty big deal, right?
I think it's a big deal. It's certainly for the drivers, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, they did kind of warn industry it was coming, but okay, you warned industry that was coming, but that doesn't really, it's just a different kind of setup to just be able. What they like to say is put it in your rates. Well, the fuel surcharge is a pass through that goes down to the person who's spending that money for the fuel.
Yeah,
So
the guy
just put it in your rates
putting
as a
the fuel-
TSP. It's a totally
It
different.
doesn't pass down to the driver,
Right.
right?
That's a totally
Yeah.
different thing. So I think it is a big deal. The baseline rate was $2.50 in the current program and how it is operating right now. And starting 15 May, and I'm going to say 15 May a couple times, and I'll tell you why. Because apparently, while I gave this talk at Dispatchers,
Uh-huh.
I mistakenly said 13 May. I don't believe I did.
We all know better.
I think
We
I
all know
said
better.
I believe I said 15 May. But anyway, 15 May, 15 May is when the new fuel surcharge at $3.50 as a baseline goes into effect.
So I'm dumb sometimes. So I just want to ask this to make sure I understand in my head that it's what I think it is. So that 250 baseline, is it basically, if it were $2.60, the pay we would get when it was $2.50 is the same pay that we would get if it were $3.60. So if we have a 10% increase per gallon, is it? Am I saying that right? Do you
I
understand?
know
what
what
I'm
you're saying. So I guess the way I would say it is at $2.50 in the current program and as it currently exists. And oh, by the way, as it exists in all other SDDC and Transcom programs other than household goods, freight tenders, freight contracts, it's still a $2.50 baseline.
So they're
Right?
just attacking the household goods.
Just on the
industry
household goods
for-
side,
yeah.
Transcom pulled away from that SDDC policy and created their own policy for it, right? And they wanted to go up to $3.50. So at $3.50, once it goes 13 cents above that, now you get another percentage in there, right? So it's not necessarily the same as at 13 cents above $2.50, right? I mean,
Okay.
it's a significant cutback on what's going on.
But it is a significant cutback on
It
that
is.
fuel surge.
Yes.
So, so that's something everybody needs to be aware of.
Definitely need to be aware.
Yep.
Transcom has going to start counting partial surveys, customer satisfaction surveys.
Okay, so that's good.
The customer satisfaction survey determines your performance score,
Yep.
which determines your best value score or helps, it's a part of it. And then, therefore, for TSPs, racks and stacks them in first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, how many shipments you get, right?
And the significance of that is when they came out with BBS 2.0 last year, right? Or whenever it was.
Maybe even two. I don't remember now.
Um,
seems like forever.
But if a customer filled out a partial survey and never finished it or never did the second part, nobody would get any credit for that survey being filled out, positive or negative. So now they're saying, hey, there's a lot of survey fatigue. A lot of them are being partially filled out. So we're going to change and say, hey, we're going to accept these partially filled out surveys. And at least they can give the credit to whoever that partial was served date.
That's
amount,
correct.
Right.
So they a couple years ago changed the survey process from after the shipment's over, you get 6 questions survey.
Yeah.
That was getting between a 20 and a 30% return rate, probably somewhere in that range. The industry complained about it quite a bit about wanting more returns. So they went to a third-party contractor, who decided that they were going to split the survey apart and do an origin survey, 3 questions, destination survey, 3 questions.
Well, and the contractor did way better, right?
So
Sorry.
we'll address that. 6 questions, still the same 6 questions, but one after your pickup is completed, and then the other survey after you were delivered. And as you were saying, for a single shipment, you had to have both the origin survey and the destination survey returned, or those surveys were just chunked if you only got half of them or one of them that was returned. And so, there was some engagement on that, hey, we're not getting the return rate. The return rate actually fell, right?
Yeah.
It's probably, for a year, it's probably under 16%.
From 30%.
From, again, it ranged 20s.
25.
There were some years that were probably high 20s, low 30s, those types of things. And it's below 16%. So, Transcom looked at it and said, okay, that kind of makes sense to us. If we can figure out a process, we'll allow an origin survey. And if the customer doesn't fill out the destination, we'll count that origin survey, and vice versa.
So this is good. This is
I think it's good, right? You're getting feedback. Why not accept that feedback and take it no matter where you get it and count it, right? And so the survey split apart and will be counted differently. Don't believe, based on when the data is pulled, and they go back 9 months from the performance period, all those kind of things. So I don't think it'll be until the 1 October performance period you'll see that. Okay. And right now, TSPs can't even look at those partial surveys. They haven't figured out, or they haven't put it in DPS yet in the system to actually be able to view as a TSP, what are my partial survey scores? What are people saying on those surveys? What's their scores? So they have said at this week at their PPF that would be a mid-July update to DPS. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when they initially came out, they said, frankly, I think they said that you would see it before this rate filing, before in February, March timeframe, you would see those. Now it's July, so mid-July.
Okay. Any other big things on this year? I'll give you one more.
All right. One more big thing. What did we just talk about? Let's see.
If you've got one. If you don't, that's all
I
right.
think we do. I gotta get back into my brain.
Good, Nick.
Oh, that is a big thing. So, from off camera,
From the crowd. There you
yeah,
go. Thanks,
yeah,
Ed.
Yeah. So Transcom kind of released information in late October at the National Defense Transportation Association meeting that, frankly, not a lot of movers go to. It's much more of a freight conference.
Yep.
But they told people that they were considering doing a domestic winner-take-all special solicitation for certain areas, right? So right now, on the international program, in the international tender, they do special solicitations for, strange volume, low volume, strange locations. Hey, we'll just bid this out, have a winner take all, take this, because we just want somebody to capture that to make it worth their while, right, for that volume.
Okay.
So they've decided that's a concept that maybe would work in the domestic side as well.
Okay.
So they threw out the fact that they were considering an Alaska,
Yep.
a U.S. Northern Tier Region 4, which would be North and South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana,
So those are easy to get to.
and a Key West. Right.
Yeah.
And really, they got a lot of engagement because they gave us time on that one to kind of think through it. They were engaged by IEM, by Alaska Movers, and by some individual TSPs to say, we're not really sure that this makes sense.
Yeah.
And again,
Shout out to
not always
Alaska Movers for showing up strong.
Alaska Movers said, were
Yeah.
pretty passionate about the issue because they felt like, hey, we still have a lot of capacity up here, a lot of capability up here. Transcom, I think, pitched it in a couple different ways, but one of the ways that they pitched it was that, hey, we think that at some point, if we roll out the Global House of Goods contract and domestic TSPs start kind of whittling away from the program because we start taking over some of these domestic areas, right?
Yeah.
In these channels, that maybe there won't be TSPs left to service some of these shipments. And would Alaska be one of those? Because Alaska is going to change from the domestic programs under DP3 to the international program
Right.
under Global House of Goods contract. And since that's going to happen, there's a gap there between when the domestic might be up and running and when the international might start. And there was, I think, they were starting to consider hey, well, we have people around to do those. So maybe we need a special solicitation to, under the DP3 program, before it's transitioned to the Global Housing Goods contract, do we need a single, like a single winner domestic special solicitation, winner take all, that would entice movers to stay in that area until they moved on to the international.
Yeah.
So that was the thought process. Ultimately, it's in the rules. It's only Key West at the start of this program.
Everybody else pretty much got.
Everybody else, they kind of backed away from it for now. However, they added a rule on the 5th of March in their tender of service that said basically we reserve the right to make changes in the future to the 400 NG and the IT-24, the tender and the tariff, in any manner in which it might help us support the transition to the Global Housing Goods contract. So if you were to guess what that might be, it might be, hey, if it makes sense, maybe in their mind, we'll have to go to a special solicitation. We might do it in the middle of the cycle, not at the start of the next cycle. That's when
Which is not good.
What's that?
Which is not good.
Which is, again, it's disruptive, right? It's it doesn't provide stability for TSPs. They want to, they're bidding out right now their rates and figuring out where they're putting their capability and the capacity, and their agreements are getting into all kinds of stuff. So
And that can be very frustrating.
You pull that volume out and go to a winner take all. That's
And I feel like often we're getting changes in the tender of service. Maybe this is just my perspective, but after we've already submitted rates, and that's just.
So if you have time, we can get into that a little bit. You want to? How much time we got? We got to run out of time.
Yeah, we've got a few more minutes. So all right, go ahead.
All right, so
I'm all ears, Dan.
Yeah, so that's something that rightfully so annoys people, right?
Yeah.
TSPs.
Yeah.
There have been changes to the tender of service that have happened post rate filing.
Yeah.
While that cycle's going on, it's actually something that I've recently had some conversations with our transportation lawyers about that process, right? Like, what is it that a mover can or can't do, right? A TSP could or couldn't do to challenge that type of change mid-cycle. And really, the feedback that we're getting, and it hasn't really been a real deep dive, but I will tell you the feedback we're getting from the legal side is that it would have to be, for something for a TSP to take issue with and try and challenge legally, it would have to be a cardinal change of a material rule that was guaranteed in the current program, and then was changed and was taken away from you in a manner that obviously cost you money, right? Like that's cost you significant money.
Yeah.
The problem is that in the current DP3 program, it's a tender and tariff-based program, and because of that, no TSPs are never guaranteed volume in that program, right? So if you were to change it and say, hey, we're going to go out of the tender tariff environment and get rid of the channels and the bids on 400 NG, and we're going to go to a winner-take-all special solicitation, well, you had no guarantee of volume in the 400 NG, right? So to challenge that, from the standard that the Court of Federal Claims, and again, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't play one on TV, and I did not sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but from my understanding of that, you would have to be able to say that, oh, I had a guarantee of volume, and now they took that away from me, and I can show you the damage that's done, right? The money change that's happened on that. And volume in and of itself is not that same type of cardinal change, material change to the program.
Right.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
So frustrating.
Basically, they can do whatever they want.
Should you have stability in the program? If you want good quality in the program, right? If you want people to stay in the program, if you want people to invest in your program, you need some stability, right?
Yeah.
All that impacts the customer ultimately at the end. But if you wanted to fight it, it would be very difficult to do. My understanding.
Yeah.
My non-legal understanding.
All right, so I'm going to pause here, but I'd love to bring you back on sometime and spend. I don't want to spend 2 or 3 minutes now on GHC because I don't feel like we can dive into it enough.
Okay.
But I'll extend the invitation out that maybe we can have you come on and
Perfect.
and do a solo podcast on GHC and what's going on, what people need to know.
All right, good.
How's
Will
that
we be on a boat when we're doing that, or
Probably not. It's not going to be as cool as this.
Okay.
You'll be sitting in your office at your house.
I'll do it.
You know,
I'll do it anyway.
You'll do it anyway. All right, cool.
All right, good. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Yep,
Appreciate you. Good to see you as always.
Thanks.
All right, take care. Thanks for joining us on the Movers Resource Guide podcast. Party's getting wild here at the Dispatchers Conference. Music's getting loud. People are getting crazy. So it's our time to sign off and step away. But appreciate you joining us. Want to thank all our guests that we had on here that had a quick chat with us. Sad we missed you if you weren't here. Hopefully you can join us for this conference next year. Appreciate you listening. Now get moving.